Hey guys, it's Mason from Tasting Anarchy. This is a quick mini episode from Jake. He's always got something fun and interesting to say, so take a listen.
Down in Petersburg, everything's fine. All them cats is drinking that wine. Drinking that mess is their delight. When you get drunk, start singing all night. Drinking wine, sporty, you to drink wine. Wine, sporty, you to drink wine. Wine, sporty, you to drink wine. Pass that bottle to me. Drinking that mess is their delight. When it gets drunk, start fighting all night. Knock down windows and tear down doors.
Hello everyone, it's Jake from Tasting Anarchy here with this week's mini episode. I was kind of having a hard time struggling to think about what I wanted to talk about, and as I texted Mason, I realized I may have a problem. And the problem is that I buy way too many wines, and although I don't drink too much, I don't think, I have just an ungodly amount of bottles of wine with me. So I decided what I'm going to try to do maybe for the next several mini episodes is just kind of go through my wines and see if I can come up with some sort of theme for each episode. So this week, I think you guys have probably heard me talk about it before if you have tuned into several of the episodes. There is a winery up in Lubbock, Texas. That's Texas High Plains, AVA. American Viticulture area, and it's called McPherson Cellars, I think, and they produce a lot of, I think, very high quality Texas wines, and I happened to get two McPherson Reds the last time I was at Total Wine, and so I figured the theme for this week could be these two McPherson Reds. So I've got two Texas wines from the High Plains, but the blends are different. And the two wines, I'll go ahead and start out with the first one, actually, and you can be surprised about the second one. The first one is McPherson's La Herencia, and I believe that Herencia means heritage in Spanish, and I think it says it on the back of the bottle. Yeah, it does. It says heritage. This is a red blend that is done... I think I might have posted about this on Twitter, and I said that it was done in the Spanish style, but I don't think it is, because I think that only Tempranillo is a Spanish-specific grape varietal, and Tempranillo makes up 77% of this wine. The rest of it is Syrah at 9%, Mourvedre at 7%, and Carignan at 7%. And this wine is 13.9% alcohol by volume. I thought of the two, this one was very, very good. I would say that of the two, this is probably the better one, and I would highly recommend it. And I'll tell you what I think was interesting about it. So the smell was, I don't normally get this in the types of reds that I choose to buy, and this one had the typical red, the typical red wine smell, like this cherry, kind of the underripe cherry. This one actually had a different smell. It had sort of an overripe cherry, but beyond the overripe cherry, and probably a much stronger smell, was like crushed strawberry. And I don't normally detect that flavor in most of the red wines I get, and I think it's just because I get more of the bolder wines that don't have, and I wouldn't even call this sweet because this is a dry wine, but I don't typically get the ones that are on the fruitier side, with the exception of occasionally Portuguese wines. But this was very fruity, but it was fruity on the strawberry note. So the taste was the typical Tempranillo fruitiness, but not like overly fruity, but with the smoother tannins, a little bit of like sweeter baking spices, maybe a little black pepper in there. But unlike Tempranillo, it had this incredibly strong, sweet red strawberry flavor, like a overripe strawberry. And I thought that was just very interesting, very unusual. Not specifically refreshing, but refreshing in the sense that I hadn't tasted it before, and I thought that was pretty cool. And it wasn't off-putting at all. It was a very tasty strawberry. It was medium bodied, and I'll go ahead and read to you guys what it says on the back of the bottle just because it's interesting. So it says, Herencia, Spanish for heritage, is a term that embodies history and ancestry, tradition, and custom. From the confines of a historic Coca-Cola bottling plant, McPherson Cellars draws inspiration from Spanish-European explorers that first surveyed the South Plains all the way to the men who first envisioned a West Texas wine industry. We may look to the past at McPherson Cellars, but we are progressively moving into the future. La Herencia is an old world blend of red varietals that gives a tip of the hat to those who have come before us. Soft, rich, and smooth flavors exemplify this stunning red wine. And I think that is a fairly good description. It's also, I like the McPherson label too. It's very handsome. I have an appreciation for the kind of simplified aesthetic on wine. I don't really go for the ones that are crazy and wild, which is funny because, Mason and I's first wine on the show was Freak Show, which has a very loud, crazy label. I really appreciate the kind of smooth labels. The McPherson label is just a very plain coat of arms, white label, says McPherson, says what the wine is, says that it's 2016. I like this one a lot, and I do recommend it. If you can get a bottle of it, I would go for it. So a lot of Texas wines have something in them that's kind of an unusual flavor, and I can't quite put my finger on it. But I do think that almost all of them are a very good bargain. This one at $13 a bottle was a great bargain, I think. I wouldn't be embarrassed at all to serve this to friends when I was, maybe, gonna serve dinner or whatever. I don't know exactly what I would recommend it with. Online, it suggests lamb, and lamb is such an uncommon dish for me to eat. I do like it a lot, but it's just not something I eat very often, so it's always kind of hard for me to pair lamb with things in my head. So what I ended up eating this with was shredded Mexican beef, salsa, and corn chips, just because that's what I like. And it was sweet onion salsa, and I thought it went fine with that. I also had several glasses just by themselves while I was watching TV, and I thought that was fine. The other wine that I have is also from McPherson. It's called Tre Colore, or Tre Colore, or whatever the fancy way of saying that is. It's also 2016. This one is 67% Since Salt, 29% Carignan, and 4% Viognier. So, interesting blend on this one. This one is 13.5% alcohol by volume. The smell of it was the kind of typical red wine smell, maybe a little on the sweet side, but or the nose, as people say, a little on the sweet side, but not anything off-putting to me, and I typically like dry wines. It's also dry wine. Taste was red fruit flavor, not so much the strawberry sweetness, but there was kind of a grape jammy flavor to this. It was slightly tannic, but not overly tannic. Has a much lighter body than the other one. I think I said the other one was medium bodied. This one is quite light bodied. It's a very, very clean taste as well. So it does have flavor. You do taste those red fruits. You do get the jamminess. You do get a little bit of tannins, but it doesn't stay with you. It's just kind of like you drink it and it's gone. And which, that might be something you're looking for. It's not typically what I look for. Like, I like to kind of savor my wine while I'm, sitting around watching TV or doing homework or whatever it is that I need to do. But I did think this was very good. I'll go ahead and read the back of the bottle for this one as well, so that you sort of get an idea of where it's coming from. So this says, long, long ago, in a vineyard far, far away, the forces of 3 Rhone varietals, Since Salt, Carignan, and Viognier were united. The goal was to form a union that would be of galactic proportions. Intense and often rebellious berry character from Since Salt, rich smoky violet aromas from Carignan, and the tropical flavors of Viognier are at the heart of this unique blend. Together, these 3 wines spent time in the craft of an old master vintner, were aged to perfection and melded into a wine that could take on an empire of food. Enjoy this wine with friends and good times that come with life. And that's a good description. Like I said, I liked it. And with food, sure, I could see this going very well with food, and I could see this being a really good kind of sit down and talk to your friends type of wine. It does have, again, there's this flavor with High Plains red wines that, like I said, I can't put my finger on it, but it seems distinct to that. Maybe someday I'll try it in a different wine and be like, that's the flavor, and then I'll talk to a sommelier and they'll be able to tell me what it is. But I don't think it's an off-putting flavor. It's just a unique flavor. This one has it also. It seems like it's very common with High Plains red, so I don't know. I guess that's just me kind of trying to think about it. This one was also about $13 a bottle at Total Wine. And I think that it's worth the price. I would probably serve this one with, when I was making like my famous, and by famous I mean I make them and I like them and my wife likes them. So my famous tacos a la Lindsay, which is, I got the recipe from my mom. And it's just basically like taco meat and taco stuff. But then on the shells, you fry them, and then you put Parmesan cheese to soak up the oil. So then you've got like these Parmesan cheesy shells. It's really good. So I would serve it with something like that, which is, I guess, would be Tex-Mex or Southwest Mex or whatever. But given the choice, I think between the two of these, I would go with the La Herencia. I think it was the superior quality of the two, and I just liked it better. But it's also, I think, of the two, the one that goes best by itself, not without enjoying it with food. Like I did have the La Herencia with salsa and shredded beef. It was fine, and I thought that went well. The other one, the Tre Colore, I didn't eat it with anything. Actually, I might have had it with like some cottage cheese or something like that, because I eat a lot of cottage cheese, and I don't recall how it went with that, so it must not have been that amazing. But again, great wine, $13 a bottle. Both of these $13 a bottle. If you can get one or the other, and you want to bring it with you somewhere, I don't think you're going to disappoint. It's a good bottle of wine. It's also Texas, and as Texas becomes more, I guess, prominent in winemaking, it's going to become less of a novelty to bring it, but Texas does produce high-quality wines, and these two, I think, are good examples for a very fair price, and there's still a novelty with bringing a Texas wine somewhere. So if you can, I would go ahead and pick up a bottle of one of these and bring it with you to a party or something, or maybe even two, because for the quality that these are at $13, you're not going to be able to get really that much higher of a quality for $26. So you could get two of these and be a hero, as opposed to getting a $26 bottle of some other red blend and being, just a regular guy who brought a single bottle of wine, or a regular girl who brought a single bottle of wine. So check them out. It's McPherson's. I'll put a link in the show notes. Let me go to plugs real quick. So Car Campit and I are working on Childeberg, which is going to be the first weekend in June, most likely. So keep your ears out, and you can follow Car at Car Campit on Twitter, or you can follow me at Tasting Anarchy on Twitter to get updates on that. You can also, I'm sure we'll be putting updates on our website, which you can go to tastinganarchy.com. You can also email me at tastinganarchy@gmail.com. And that is really all I've got to say this week. Go back and listen to some of our other episodes. I think because I've got so many wines, I'm going to do another Texas episode next week, and maybe go over the grapes that are in that. And I would also just be kind of interested in what the listeners want to hear on these episodes. Like, most of these mini episodes are just kind of me reviewing a wine, maybe giving a news article. If you guys want me to talk about grape varietals in particular, I like to do research, so I wouldn't mind doing a little research and giving a summary on that. Or I can do more news articles. I can also do like wine suggestions if they're available to me at Probably Total Wine is where I want to get it. So just reach out. Again, you can do tastinganarchy@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter at tastinganarchy, and I would be happy to take those suggestions. So until next time, everybody, stay free.
Knock down windows and tearing down doors, drinking half gallons and calling for more, drinking wine's for you to drink wine, wine's for you to drink wine, wine's for you to drink wine. Pass that bottle to me, hoy, drink at me. Oh, give me some of that slop. Oh, pass that bottle to me. If you want to get along in Peterstown, buy some wine and pass it around. Age runs up to 49. All them cats, they love sweet wine. Drinking wine's for you to drink wine. Wine's for you to drink wine. Wine's for you to drink wine. Pass that bottle to me. Hoy! Wine, wine, wine. Elderberry. Wine, wine, wine. Cherry, cherry. Wine, wine, wine. Blackberry. Wine, wine, wine. Horton sherry. Wine, wine, wine. Oh, pass that bottle to me. Now down on Gilsey at Willie's Den, he wasn't selling but American gin. One soldier wanted a bottle of wine. He hipped that cat for $1 and a dime. Drinking wine for you to drink wine. Wine for you to drink wine. Wine for you to drink wine. Pass that bottle to me. Now I got a nickel, have you got a dime? Let's get together and get some wine. Somebody's fifth and somebody's fourth. When you get together, you're doing things smart. Drinking wine for you to drink wine. Wine for you to drink wine. Wine for you to drink wine.